This woman went into a solitary prayer session before she filled those bottles or those empty vessels that she had been told to fill by Elisha. There is a blessing that comes when we pray together as a family. Sometimes we close those blessings because everyone is doing their own activities, but there's a blessing, a handful blessing that comes from God when we pray together as a family. God's presence is there. When you tell your children, my children, today evening, I'd like us to come all together and seek God in prayer as a family. All of us get united and talk to Christ because we need his presence. You know, sometimes that is not our priority. You tend to say, we mama omba yako, mi acha niombe yangu, tutakutana mbele. But there's that blessing that comes when we pray as a family. It is its own blessing aside the one that you pray when you're an individual. Sometimes it is good to say that, of course, God has been gracious to us as a family. We have not lacked anything. Your children have been successful in their activities. So it is time, maybe even you can say one Sabbath, we will go somewhere as a family, cry to God, pray to God, make prayer our priority and seek God in prayer so that we can seek for many, many blessings as a family all together. So this woman, she did something good. Shut the door with her children and they sought God in prayer. Sometimes we can say our parents are busy. But when we insist it as children or as young people, when we remind them, you know what? It is good to pray as a family. When we come together, everyone is talking to God. We are crying to God all together as a family of Christ. Things go on well. It's just like saying when you do things together as a team, the thing becomes double successful than you would have done it alone. So we continue. So she went from him, that is verse 5, yes? So she went from him, shut the door, and brought the vessels to her, and she poured it. I'd like you to use my bottle over here. Yes. So we are actually filling those vessels that she had gone to take. Remember, she only had one jar of oil alone. We continue. Verse 6. And it came to pass when the vessels were full. So I want you to fill this container. We imagine there were many vessels, and so she was supposed to fill all of them. Thank you. As she's filling, we are continuing. Verse 6. And it came to pass when the vessels were full, and she said unto her son, bring yet another vessel. And she said, there is no vessel, and the oil stayed. Remember, it was oil that they were filling inside these containers. Out of that one oil, they filled so many containers because they believed in God. It is our responsibility to seek God in prayer. This woman was given instructions and she followed them. God will not come to pray on our behalf. It is us to do the action ourselves. If you cannot talk to God, you yourself individually or you as a family, then we have lost it. It is a time to prioritize our prayer. Our responsibility in prayer. It is just going to pray, just as this woman was doing what she was told. And remember, she was doing it in faith because she knew that a lot of things will come from this. When we talk to God, let us have faith and believe that he will work wonders unto us as his children. You know, someone can say, why is it that this story only happened to this particular lady? Why couldn't it have occurred to someone else? But it occurred to her to show us that even in that devastating moment, a prayer of crisis will save you. When you talk to God at that moment that you feel like, no, I cannot kneel down, God always gives you the strength to conquer it all. So this woman, after she had filled the container and it was full, she told her sons to go and sell. And you know what? I could imagine it was that time that I was saying, mafuta ni mia, and then people were buying. Everyone was taking. And that was the blessing of God. When she was pouring those vessels, when she was filling them with a lot of oil inside of them, that is how the power of God is filled in our hearts when we pray. That is how blessings multiply when you talk to God. I have always told the youths when I did their week of prayer, I told them, when you make prayer your priority, opportunities will always look for you. You will never look for them. Opportunities will bring themselves to you. Because you have made prayer your priority in life. Remember, these things happened when they were inside the house. So the God that sees you struggling, whatever you've told God to do for you, when you're praying each and every morning, when you're seeking God in prayer in that particular point that you're praying, that's your prayer place. When you're talking to God with a lot of pain, you want him to deliver. Just remember, he sees and he hears, and he will answer your prayers in public. Everyone will see the goodness of God. You know, you pray silently. We don't know what you pray. You pray when you're silent in your house. But when we walk and see blessing in your life, that shows that God has answered your prayer in public. We see it. We see the goodness of God in your life. Thank you. You can see it. So when this woman had sold everything, and everything that they had sold had already finished. This is the part that I love. Verse 7. Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, go sell the oil and pay the debts, and live thou and your children of the rest. God had done it for this family after all. I could imagine they were so happy when these people were coming for their debts. They were like, I have your money, man. Here is your cash. Because they were happy. Their prayer had been answered. That is why I was saying they shut themselves. They did all the instruction. They talked to God in prayer, and God answered them in public. People were like, these people, see, they were poor the other day. Kwani, what has changed? The power of prayer had changed them. You know, this particular story, I like it so much because somehow, it is a reflection of my own story that I don't like to share, but today I feel like sharing it because maybe it's going to be a blessing to someone out there. My dad was a minister just like this one, a Seventh-day Adventist pastor. I lost my dad in 2021, and I became in that devastating time, harsh condition like this particular lady. I ask God questions. Why do you have to take someone that talks about you, that preaches your word all the time? What wrong has he done? And you know what? I never got answers because God cannot answer you at times. But I used to ask God so many harsh questions because, you know, girls and their fathers, they are one and the same thing. Dads and girls, they are very close. So to me, I felt like I had lost a best friend. But I remember someone who came to console me one day. I'm sorry to say this, but To the people who console people, and then you tell them, you know what, let's keep waiting for the resurrection morning. I don't like that statement. You know why? Because resurrection morning is not tomorrow. I will wake up in the morning, I'll not see my dad. I'll wake up tomorrow morning, I'll not see my mother. I'll wake up tomorrow, I'll not see my friend that I have lost. And yet you tell me, let's wait for resurrection morning. I don't like it because it is not like resurrection morning is a day like I'll wake up tomorrow and then boom, that is a resurrection morning, I'll see my loved one. But I remember this minister that came to our house and told me, you know what, Miriam? This thing, I'll never forget that statement. This thing is not easy. And it is only God who can give you the strength to tackle days each and every day. But even as you tackle each and every day, how do you talk to God? The only way that he can give you strength, because you cannot meet face to face with God, it is through your knees when you pray. And he told me, I want you from today to get yourself a mantle and pray. And then I told him,